The US president claims his administration is talking to the right people in Iran, adding that Tehran wants to make a deal with the US. Iran, on the other side, says we are not in talks, but says that it will let non-hostile oil vessels go through the crucial Strait of Hormuz. That's as much as Iran has agreed to do. US has reportedly sent a 15-point peace plan to Tehran, and President Trump says that he remains optimistic for a deal, even claiming that the US has achieved regime change in Iran. Listen to this.
I hate to say it, but we killed all their leadership, and then they met to choose new leaders, and we killed all of them. And now we have a new group, and we can easily do that, but let's see how they turn out. We have really regime change. You know, this is a change in the regime because the leaders are all very different than the ones that we started off with that created all those problems. So this was, I think we can say, Jason, this is regime change, right?
He also claimed that US has received a significant present from the new leadership in Iran, a prize. Trump said that the gift is related to oil and gas, and it is worth a lot of money.
They're going to make a deal. They're going to make a deal. They did something yesterday that was amazing, actually. They gave us a present, and the present arrived today. And it was a very big present worth a tremendous amount of money. And I'm not going to tell you what that present is, but it was a very significant prize. And they gave it to us, and they said they were going to give it. So that meant one thing to me: we're dealing with the right people.
Well, Trump did not explain any further, but then suggested that it was related to the Strait of Hormuz, which Iran has largely blockaded in retaliation for US and Israeli strikes, sending global energy prices soaring. Iran, shortly afterwards, assured safe passage to non-hostile vessels through the strait in a message circulated by the International Maritime Organization. Iran made it clear that vessels linked to the US, Israel, or their allies will be blocked. Iran had already in recent days said that it was not targeting friendly nations. The New York Times, quoting unnamed officials, said that the US has sent a 15-point plan to Iran through its mediators, including Pakistan. Israel's Channel 12 reported that Trump is proposing a one-month ceasefire to discuss a proposal that would include handing over Iran's enriched uranium and banning any further enrichment. Iran would also ensure safe passage through the Strait of Hormuz. The Israeli report said that Iran, in turn, would see an end to all sanctions. It will also receive assistance in developing civil nuclear energy at Bushehr, a site which was recently targeted in a missile strike, Bushehr nuclear power plant. And the reported new proposal would keep in place the Islamic Republic, despite earlier vows of regime change by Trump and especially Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu. Despite Trump's stated hopes for diplomacy, the United States is reportedly planning to send 3,000 soldiers from the elite 82nd Airborne Division to this region. However, it is not clear when or where they are going to be deployed. Now, this as President Trump's approval rating fell. It is continuing to plummet. In recent days, it fell to its lowest point since he returned to the White House. The latest Reuters Ipsos poll showed only 36% of Americans approve of Trump's job performance so far, which is down from 40%, which was the figure just last week. And a little earlier, I had spoken with Giorgio Cafiero, professor at the Georgetown University and CEO Gulf State Analytics. Here's how he assesses how US has carried forward this West Asia war.
Trump is talking about how he has this vision for a future in which Iran does not pursue or certainly ever possess nuclear weapons. We need to be clear that Iran has been committed to a future of no nuclear weapons. It's a signatory of the NPT, and also having signed the JCPOA and having made very clear its willingness to sign a new nuclear agreement that would limit its nuclear activities to the point where it would be very far from being in a position to have nuclear weapons. So if Trump's ambition has been and truly is limited on the nuclear file to preventing weaponization of the nuclear program. Certainly no need to fight this war. I would say, if anything, as a consequence of this war, the leadership in Iran is of the view that it needs a nuclear weapon to achieve long-term deterrence. Now, when Trump is talking about completely ending the nuclear program altogether, in the sense that he would require some new agreement would require Iran to be at zero enrichment, I still think that just as the Iranians were unwilling to agree to such terms prior to this war, moving forward, they're definitely not going to make a concession like that, which from the Iranian perspective would amount to relinquishing their sovereignty. I think on that point, Iran is not going to budge. And I don't imagine Iran agreeing to zero enrichment, just as I was never imagining Iran being willing to make such a concession even before the war.